All right, welcome to Ace and the Hole Live. We are live, and I'm here
Hello.
with Raul Smith, and I am super excited to be interviewing him. So, we are going to talk a little bit about how to increase customer experience, and then we're going to talk about your company and the story behind your company.
All right.
So, let's talk about a little bit about what you do and how you create an amazing customer experience for your customers.
So the amazing customer service that I present to customers is just basic one-on-one. Trying to treat them as the same way that I would with my sister or my mother or my best friend or anybody else. It's treating them as a human being rather than just a number.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So, when we talk about customer experience, so on the reality show Ace in the Hole, there are 8 pillars of a business, and one of those is a customer experience and increasing customer experience on a daily basis. When you increase customer experience on a daily basis, it means you're doing things that nobody else is doing
Yeah,
because people just don't think that often about how their customers experience what they do. And yours is a service. It's not
correct.
a physical product, it's a service. So when you offer a service instead of a product, there's a lot of ways that you can help a customer feel better about what you do. And when you treat them, like you say, as a customer, as a real person instead of just, numbers, it
Right.
makes a really big difference. So what are some of the things that you do to help them feel like a real person instead of just numbers?
One thing that I've learned over the years as a web developer is communication, 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 communication. And that sometimes means waking up, getting your coffee, getting everything set up and ready to go. And then first thing you do after you get everything set up is getting on your phone, getting on email, getting on text message, whatever, and just reaching out to them saying, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything that I can do to maybe help with the process, help with everything that's going on? And if you're trying to get the lead or get in the sale, sometimes it's what can I do to help, nudge you along a little bit without wording it that way, obviously. Um, and if you've already completed all the services, like you've got the website, you've got SEO rocking and rolling and everything, it's sometimes reaching out once a week and saying, hey, have I done a good enough service to retain my services for your company
Mm-hmm.
for the future,
Mm-hmm.
or to maybe kind of get referrals or references or whatnot. And that's the biggest thing, is just kind of reaching out, kind of talking to them, not really as um, a sales lead, but as a friend. And sometimes that means going and getting coffee with them sometimes.
Yeah, love that. There's maybe we'll talk about this a little bit later, but
Okay.
there have been studies. There's a guy named Desmond Morris at the beginning of the 1900s. He did all these studies on what creates a long-term pair bonded relationship with two people. And he found that there were 12 steps. And if you skip any two of the steps in any order, it's like having a one night stand. You can't have a long term relationship with that person. So
Right.
you want to make sure that you follow through with actually talking to them and being with them and creating a real relationship with them. And that creates, in a business, lifetime value, massive lifetime value. So
Absolutely.
you don't do it to create lifetime value necessarily.
No.
You do it because you want to be friends. You want to have a relationship. But that's the basis of all business is relationships.
Absolutely.
Which is one of the reasons I have people here is I want to create relationships with people and understand them and see if there are ways that I can to give to them and help them and create value for them. So let's talk about your business.
Okay.
Let's talk about the story of how it came to be
Okay.
and maybe a few challenges that you were able to overcome.
Absolutely. So I actually started doing web development back in 2010 for a small carpet cleaning company out in Centerville, Utah.
Okay.
And from there, kind of went and worked with kind of a small-ish web development firm out in Park City, Utah. And part of my responsibility was dealing with customers on a day-to-day basis, and that's where I learned a lot about communication, a lot about face-to-face interaction, and a lot of those customers that I worked with during that time, I've actually kept in touch with over the years, whether it be through Facebook, LinkedIn, or just regular one-on-one, like text messaging, like I mentioned. And from there, after I was let go from that, I kind of just got that itch a little bit with working with customers, working with people, directly face to face, rather than just working with shareholders or whatnot.
Yeah, right.
And decided to create Galactic Web Solutions back in 2015. Very small, very, kind of archaic business model.
So why did you decide to start a business instead of just staying an employee?
So it was twofold. I was going to stay as an employee with the company I was working for in Lehigh. At the same time that I was building this business, building things up, and then the pandemic happened, everything just kind of went bleh.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I had to shift focus. I had to, go from just, okay, I'm working full time, but I'm doing this part time, to I need to focus on this more.
Right. Okay. But isn't a job safer?
A job is safer. It's more secure income. Yeah. But the saying, the higher the risk, the higher the reward.
Okay. Fair enough. You're crazy like the rest of us.
Yeah. That's part of the trade-off with being a small business owner, I guess.
Right. More freedom, more time, more money. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Some of the time. It happens after a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about what maybe your business needs right now. So you're obviously doing really well. You're creating a lot of clients and you're fulfilling their needs. What are some of the needs that you have in order to scale your business?
More exposure. I have been doing a lot of SEO work on my end. Just kind of expanding the business out past Utah into Pacific Northwest. I've got some contacts down in South Carolina and Florida that are helping with that. But more exposure, more expansion, just kind of bringing in more clients and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm also working on expanding not just my client base, but also my repertoire, I guess you could say. Working with web development is great and all, but there needs to be more of an emphasis on mobile.
Yeah. And
mobile is kind of the future. And so a couple weeks ago, just kind of out of necessity, I started researching into what's called progressive web applications. And basically what that is it treats your website, the mobile version of your website, like a mobile app.
Okay.
So you're able to download, quote unquote, the mobile app onto your phone, and instead of accessing it through your browser, you're able to just click on a button on your home screen and it takes you right there. Oh,
that's great. That's great. Yeah, I noticed a lot of apps have been moving more mobile.
Yes.
Yeah. It's more convenient, honestly. You don't have to go to the app store and download it. You can send someone a link and they can download it right then.
Absolutely. That's part of the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So, so you're talking about exposure. What kind of exposure? Are you looking to create more content to become an expert? What kind of exposure are you looking for?
More exposure, but also more clientele, I guess you could say.
Getting the exposure would get you the clientele, right?
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Get the exposure, and then the clientele comes along with that.
Yep.
But I've also been doing my own podcast.
Okay.
I've been doing my own, I was doing a tutorial series on YouTube, kind of showing people how to do some of the stuff that I do without, really exposing things too much.
Right.
But at the same time, it's that personal, again, going back to the theme, personal one-on-one interaction where it's okay, who you're dealing with, the face of the company, rather than just, it's just, XYZ marketing or something like that.
Right. Got it. So that's more branding, it sounds like, a little bit. And you have a podcast, so make sure you send me the link and I'll put it in,
absolutely.
in the comments.
Yes.
Is the podcast in order to make you into an expert? Is that
Partly.
partly?
It's mostly it's just me rambling about whatever comes to mind lately. I've been separating the podcast into like 6 different fragments, 6 different channels, I guess you could say, to where it's more, instead of touching on this type of topic for 5 minutes and then going on the same episode on a rant on something entirely different, it's more focused on, okay, I'm spending 20 minutes focusing on this. That's the episode. I'm focusing 20 minutes on this.
Nice.
That's the episode.
And is that on Facebook or YouTube or
Facebook,
Instagram?
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, at least until April, because Google Podcasts is just going away.
Sure.
They've decided to transition everything over to YouTube.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty much wherever.
Okay. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, talking to everybody out there, what's an ask that you have for the people who are watching?
Check out galacticdigitalstudios.com. That's right there.
Galactic Digital Studios.
Hey, I came prepared.
Yeah, and make sure to give me those links too, and we'll
Absolutely,
put
yes.
it in the comments. So check it out. If you have any web needs, if you need a web designer or someone to be a webmaster for you, yes, yeah. So it's Galactic Digital Studios. Make sure to check them out. We'll put the links down in the comments. And Raul, thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you,
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks for watching Ace in the Hole Live, and we'll catch you later.
All right. See ya.